Bigfoot, often referred to as Sasquatch, is a legendary, hairy, human-like creature believed to inhabit the forests of North America, particularly in the Pacific Northwest. This cryptid has deep roots in both American and Canadian folklore and has become a cultural icon since the mid-20th century, inspiring a unique subculture and permeating popular culture. Most individuals who claim to have encountered this elusive creature describe it as shy and reclusive, typically fleeing upon sighting. However, the story I'm about to share is quite different. This is the account of a particularly unsettling event known as the Bigfoot War, which allegedly took place in eastern Oklahoma in 1855. It is said to involve a violent and cannibalistic group of Sasquatch. What transpired during this dark chapter? How many lives were lost? In the midst of the dense forest where Bigfoot is rumored to roam, a terrifying saga began in 1855. A group of Choctaw settlers and ranchers in what is now McCurtain County faced a harrowing situation. Initially, their troubles stemmed from mysterious nocturnal thefts, crops, livestock, and supplies disappearing without a trace. These nocturnal intruders seemed to possess an uncanny ability to avoid detection, evading traps set by the farmers, and mysteriously choosing nights with no guards stationed outside the Choctaw homes. Their cleverness earned them a begrudging respect as the thefts continued unabated. While the missing food was troubling, it didn't pose an immediate threat to the community until children and women began to vanish. With the situation reaching a boiling point, a group of 30 Choctaw men, led by the respected Joshua LaFleur, a man of mixed Choctaw and French descent, set out to confront the culprits. Among the search party was Hamas Tubby, a formidable warrior known for his impressive stature, reaching nearly 7 feet tall and weighing over 300 pounds. Alongside his 6 sons, the Tubby family was renowned for their prowess as horsemen and fighters, earning the nickname Light Horsemen despite their size. Armed and determined, they ventured into what is today known as the McCurtain County Wilderness to track down the kidnappers, fully aware of the peril that awaited them. After riding all day, the searchers at long last arrived within the range where they believed the desperados to be hiding. LaFleur brought his troops to a stop, stood up in his stirrups, and surveyed the region with a spyglass. It is unclear precisely what LaFleur saw, but whatever it was, the orders were to charge towards a stand of pines approximately 500 yards away. LaFleur and the Tubby men led the attack. As the troops closed the distance between themselves and the stand of pines, where the kidnappers were thought to be hiding, they were hit by a tremendous stench, the unmistakable odor of death. The horses began to buck, tossing their riders off. Only the mounts of LaFleur and the Tubby men were disciplined enough to remain composed, allowing the 8 men to continue toward the pines. As the men cleared the small wooded patch, they came upon a large earthen mound. Then they saw the horrific sight. Scattered across the mound were the bodies of children and women in various stages of decomposition. Then LaFleur and the Tubby men caught a glimpse of several of the murderers fleeing into the tree line on the opposite side of the mound. Only 3 of the killers stood their ground to meet their charge. This time, the men realized they were not up against human foes. Rather, standing before them, snarling and beating their chests, were 3 huge, hair-covered creatures. Enraged, LaFleur drew his pistol and saber, spurred his mount, and charged. As LaFleur approached the nearest Sasquatch, the beast took a mighty swipe, striking his horse in the head and killing it instantly. LaFleur rolled off his falling horse, quickly jumped to his feet, and fired multiple shots into the creature's chest. Once his pistol was empty, LaFleur attacked the second Sasquatch with his saber, opening a gaping wound on the animal, which in turn roared in rage and pain. LaFleur's assault on the creature was so rapid and shocking that the Tubby men hesitated, completely stupefied, before finally entering the fray.
This delay allowed one of the other Sasquatches to sneak up behind LaFleur, who was focused on the Bigfoot he was engaged with. The moment the monster grabbed LaFleur's head with its 2 enormous hands and tore it from his shoulders, the shocking sight jolted the Tubby warriors into action. They opened fire on 3 Sasquatches with .50 caliber, sharp buffalo rifles. 2 of the creatures were shot dead instantly, collapsing in their tracks. The third animal was injured and fled. Robert Tubby, only 18 years old, urged his horse forward and chased down the wounded Bigfoot, dispatching it with his hunting knife. After gathering their startled horses, the rest of the warriors joined him and surveyed the carnage. The bodies of dead women and children, mostly half-eaten, littered the area. The smell of decay, coupled with the foul odor of the beast's feces, caused several of the men to retch. After composing themselves, the men gathered the remains of the tragic women and children and buried them. They also buried their leader, Joshua LaFleur. As for the 3 ape-like creatures, their bodies were set ablaze and burned. Their grim task complete, the Choctaw warriors returned to Tuskahoma, where it is said even the fierce Tubby men were plagued by horrific nightmares for a long time afterward. An astonishing story, is it not? But is any of it true? According to Bigfoot researcher Jim Ruler, the answer might be yes. Ruler believes that LaFleur County's tale is based on an event that occurred much farther west in Kiowa County, an event recounted to him by an Indian elder. According to the story, Kiowa women were placed in a special teepee on the outskirts of camp when they began their menstrual cycle. The women remained there, attended only by older women, until their cycle was complete. The elder told King that women were considered unclean during their menstrual cycles. The Kiowa warriors were not only forbidden to have any physical contact with females during this time, but they were also not allowed to look upon. The elder mentioned that long ago, there had been troubles with ape-like creatures attracted by the scents and pheromones emanating from the teepee where menstruating women were housed. Since the teepee was located on the edge of the encampment, it proved to be an easy target for the renegade Sasquatch, who were said to have entered and carried off the women on several occasions. In response, the Kiowa leadership formed a group of warriors to hunt down the kidnappers. The searchers managed to track the Sasquatch back to their lair and kill the entire family unit. Many put their faith in the LaFleur County version of events simply due to the name of the unfortunate Joshua LaFleur. They assert that the county would not have been named after him if the story were not true, and similar statements abound. However, according to the Oklahoma Historical Society's website, the name honors the prominent LaFleur family of the Choctaw Nation. Could Joshua LaFleur have been part of this prominent family? It is certainly possible, but there seems to be no documentation singling him out or attributing the county's naming to his actions.
They don't have like mythical creatures in Native American mythology, but they do have this one giant man thing that definitely existed.
At some point.
At 100%, Gigantopithecus was a real animal. It was 8 to 10 feet tall, bipedal hominid.
Yep.
It was a huge gorilla-looking primate.
The tale of the LaFleur County Bigfoot War, whether entirely fictional or not, suggests a long-standing belief in the existence of a massive, hairy, ape-like being in the area. This belief predates the emergence of Bigfoot in American culture, notably before the Patterson-Gimlin film, coupled with similar beliefs held by numerous Native American tribes throughout North America, where for counter-stories of these creatures seizing women and children, the body of evidence supporting their existence grows. Truth be told, the notion of Sasquatch as snatching women and children continues to captivate, frighten, and scare us even now.